Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you made it here today. Thanks for joining me. My name's Amy, and today we're just doing a get ready with me. I'm going to do a voiceover. I thought it'd be fun to try something new today. And if you want to see how I came up with today's look, make sure you stick around till the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get right into the footage. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I did my skincare and sunscreen off camera before, and then I'm going in with this illuminating primer, my favorite illuminator right now, the Live Tinted in Moonlight. And you will notice that I went ahead and sped through some of the blending in the video. I didn't want to cut it out completely because blending is the key to good looking makeup, and cutting it out makes it seem like that is not a part of doing your makeup, and it is a really big part of doing my makeup anyways, and it does add to the time it takes to do my makeup, but I find it worth it. Blend, 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 as they say. Anyways, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. I have had a super busy week this week, lots of doctor's appointments and dentist appointments. Glad to have them out of the way for the year though. We're gonna go ahead and get this e.l.f. primer set on my eyes. I like to go ahead and put the primer on right away, give it some time to set down before I do my eyeshadow, because otherwise I find that my brushes drag a bit and I don't find the application to be even when that happens. So we're gonna get this on and let it set, and then we'll get started with the base products while that is doing its thing. So the base product I am using today is my Say Serum Foundation in shade 1. Go ahead and give it a really good shake. This does need to be shook up well each time you use it. It's a very thin serum-y formula, which I appreciate. It's hydrating. My skin is very dry. I know a lot of YouTubers out there hate this foundation because it's too dewy for them, but if you are in the dry skin boat like me, you might find that you love this foundation. It doesn't make my face cakey. It doesn't settle into my pores and my fine lines. And it just looks really natural. You can still see my skin, all my texture, all my freckles, all my scarring. And I am okay with that. It just gives it a little softening, a little blur, and makes my face look a little bit less sallow. Is sallow the right word? It makes me look more awake, more alive, more vibrant. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to blend this in again with the blend, 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 blend. Just keep blending, blending, blending. So anyways, my son and me both had dentist appointments this week. I'm getting a tooth pulled in a month. Had to wait a whole month because I have to go into the oral surgeon, which is kind of a bummer because it's really bothering me. But, you know, so is life. So is the medical system, especially in the US. And I'm just happy that I have insurance and that I can get it taken care of. And then I had some doctor's appointments this week, and, you know, everything went really well. I'm just waiting to hear back on some of my results. Got my annual mammogram. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My aunt passed away from breast cancer, so I definitely recommend ladies getting yourself checked once a year and, you know, doing your monthly checks. So that's my PSA for today. Public service announcement for those who may not have been born in the 80s like I was. And then we're moving on, getting this really blended into the skin, just making sure there aren't any streaks, there aren't any patches that I missed, and then we'll move on to our concealer, or I shall say my concealer. You guys aren't putting on my concealer, but maybe you're putting on your makeup right now while you're watching this video. If so, awesome, I love it. Join me, let's do our makeup together. I'm gonna post a lot of these get ready with me, so I hope you will join me. I am just really loving making videos right now. Creating this space has really been everything I was hoping for it to be. so far in this journey. And I really am grateful that you're here with me and that I'm able to spend time doing this and really giving myself the permission to have some self care each day. As Kara says from The Beauty and the Frizz, makeup is my therapy. And it really does something for my mental health, for my self care. And maybe that's not for you. Maybe makeup feels overwhelming to you, it feels tiring to you, but for me, it really feels empowering and relaxing. Anyways, here we go with the Say concealer. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this concealer. I really wanted to love it, but I'm going to use it up. It's not terrible. It's not like drying or cakey or unusable. It just doesn't always play well with my other products. And also, I don't think it gives me the coverage I want. I need a little bit more, but I also don't want something thick and heavy. So if you guys know of a light concealer that actually gives some good under eye coverage, let me know. I'm thinking about trying the Refer concealers next. I love my LYS concealer, but it also does not give me quite enough coverage, but it does have a good color match. It does play well with all my products. And so I think I'm going to pick that up again, but I think I might also pick up the Refer. Let me know if you've used the Refer, if you like it, if you have dry skin, have you found it to be too drying on your skin? And yeah, just let me know. I'm curious about their lightest shade. It really looks like it might be a good match for me for brightening under my eyes. So again, with the blend, we'll get this all blended in. And then I like to take a damp beauty blender. Well, this is an Eco Tools beauty sponge. I like to take that beauty sponge and just go ahead and pat over any spots that I feel like are still showing some texture, or maybe there's just some unevenness. Just going through and really making this base as skin-like as I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to move on to my powder. I do like to use a little bit of powder. I find something like the Kosas powder to be a good match for me. Something that isn't overly drying and just gives you enough of a set that your makeup doesn't feel damp on the skin anymore and doesn't feel sticky. You don't get your hair stuck to your face, although you will see the hair is sticking to my face here as I'm putting on the powder, because I didn't have time to put my hair back before I did this video. In fact, I was getting ready to go to the doctor as I was filming this video, and I arrived at the doctor 5 minutes before my appointment, or 5 minutes before my arrival time for my appointment. So I made it by the skin of my teeth, rushing at the end here, trying to get my makeup done. But I really wanted to film my video today. And yeah, I think I might have skipped my makeup otherwise. I might have just rushed out of the house. The purpose of making a video gave me that permission to do my makeup, which is so silly. We should all have permission to do our makeup every day if it makes us feel good. So if you're in that same boat with me, I give you permission every day. Put on that makeup, make yourself feel beautiful, and don't let the haters tell you that wearing makeup is, you know, I don't know. What's the word? The word harlot. When I was growing up, I grew up very conservative, so makeup was allowed in my household for sure, but definitely the more makeup you wore, the heavier makeup you wore, the more colorful makeup you wore, the more sinful it made it seem. At least that was my perspective that I received from my growing up. Maybe it wasn't exactly what they put out there. You know, we perceive things different as children than what adults intend us to sometimes, because we have child brains, and child brains just, you know, work a little differently and they perceive things differently. And if you don't have an adult to check in with you, then you might continue to think those things for a long time in your life. So I think it's just really good to check in with our kids and with young ones when you're teaching them something, making sure that they really thoroughly understand in a way that they are capable of understanding the concept in which you're trying to teach them. Anyways, I'm going in now with my Say bronzer. This is my go-to bronzer. It is the perfect shade for me. It's not too dark. It's easy to use. It is the, I don't know if color is the right word. I would say it's the perfect transparency, the perfect lightness. I could blend it almost all the way out if I wanted to, which I appreciate because if I get a little too heavy handed, I know that I can go in and fix it really easily. And going ahead and getting that nice and blended. I like to put bronzer on my forehead because I have a large forehead, as you can see, and it helps to decrease the focus from my forehead. Again, with the hair today, I really wish I had taken the time to put in some clips to keep my hair back, but what do they say? Hindsight's 2020, right? I also do under my chin because I have one of those necks that kind of go right into my chin. I call it the Bob's Burger neck. You know, if you've watched that show, they kind of all have the necks that go right into the chin. So I like to create a little more shadow, a little definition under there so it doesn't quite look so odd. I shouldn't call my body odd. It's just what my body is, but I like to I like to put a little shadow under there so it doesn't seem like my neck is just like right into my chin. Anyways, we're going in with this Kosas mini blush I picked up this year for the holidays. And this is in the shade Euphoria. I'm just double checking really quick here on my hand to make sure the pigmentation is not too much before I put it on my cheeks. And even though I did that, I still ended up going way overboard here, as you see in the expression on my face as I go to put this on my nose. I definitely got a little too much on my skin, but thank goodness there's always a solution, and I went ahead and I grabbed my powder brush I just used, and it still had a little bit of powder on it, and I just went over the top, kind of lightened it up, blended it into my skin so I didn't look so clown-like. And after I'm done blending this all in, making sure that everything looks even, well blended, no harsh lines, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started with the eyes after this. Blend, 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 blend. Here I go again. It's the theme of today's video. If you didn't know, oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd. Excuse me. Anyways, here we go with the Little Mermaid palette from Sigma. This is a new release this year, and I actually really enjoy their formula, especially their multi-chromes. They have a really great formula in their multi-chromes, I think, but maybe I haven't used enough indie shadows to know, because everybody says that the indie shadow game is hot with the multi-chromes. I do have some Cliona ones that I love as well, but I find these Sigma ones are just as great, and they're really easy to use, especially if you've never used a multi-chrome before. They go on in a layer, they build, and they're not too pigmented to start out, so don't be afraid of them. They're really fun to use. I highly recommend this palette if you've been thinking about multi-chromes, but don't go out and buy it just to buy it, because honestly, if you have multi-chromes in your collection already, you don't need this palette. But if you want it, or if you've been thinking about getting into multi-chromes, I think that this is a really beginner-friendly palette. Plus, it's Little Mermaid, and I am a Disney adult. I love all the Disney movies. Little Mermaid was my jam back in the day. I had a Little Mermaid bed set, you know, all the Little Mermaid things. So the first shade I went in there with was Lover Boy. And the next shade I'm going to go in with here is the Multi-Chrome Swimming. This is my favorite color in the palette, I think. I have used it quite a few times now, and I just really like it. I'm just taking it here on the lower portion of my lid and getting it all spread out. You could use your finger as well to get a more smooth and pigmented application, but I was going for something a little bit lighter. Again, I was getting ready to go to the doctor's office and I didn't want it to look too crazy, so I went ahead and went in with a brush. And I find these Sigma brushes do just fine with glitters and shimmers. Well, I guess I should say shimmers. I don't really use much glitter, but with shimmers, it does well. This is me looking for brushes, constantly looking for brushes in this video. I don't know what my deal was. I think it was because I was feeling rushed. So you know how your brain is when you're feeling rushed, you make it so everything takes actually longer than it should. It's so silly, our brains. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and take a big fluffy brush and go ahead and smooth around the edges just to get a more diffused look here. I like a kind of blown out diffused look on my eyes. Pretty much anytime I'm doing my eyeshadow, that's the look that I am going for. And once we get done blending here, I'm going to go ahead and in the inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Seagull and put it in the inner corner just to give a little bit of brightness on the inner corner. And this is actually a multi-chrome too. It does have a slight shift to it. I find though that all of these multi-chromes in this palette go well together. They don't clash with each other. They shift well together. And they're just really fun to play with. I really dig the multi-chromes. I'm really enjoying playing with them a lot. All right, so after I got that on there, I'm gonna go back in with the fluffy brush and I'm gonna just blend all of it out and make sure it's nice and smooth, nice and diffused and transitioned. So back to our blending here, lots of blending. And I should remind you all that I am nowhere near a professional makeup artist by any means. I have no training, just years of doing my own makeup. So you do your makeup how you like to do your makeup. Don't feel like you need to do makeup the way that I'm doing it. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go in with this Sigma highlighter, also from the Little Mermaid collection. This is a really fun highlighter with a little bit of a purple shift, but you know, I find on my skin at least, it doesn't show up too purple. It's really light and gives like that bubble look you want without being space. Not, you know, it's not giving, I just got back from the intergalactic travel. It just gives a little something different, a little fun. And again, I like fun. Fun is what I'm into with my makeup. I like to do this kind of L shape on my cheeks for the shape of my face. I feel like it helps the definition of my cheekbones. And I really blend the highlight in. That's, again, the key to making it look like it's not intergalactic. I suppose if you wanted the intergalactic look, you could go in with layers and not blend it as much as I do. There's that. If you're looking for that look, I'm sure you could figure it out. And now we're going to go in with my e.l.f. makeup mist. And yes, this is far more than I need. I like it. I find it refreshing. And yeah, it's what I do. It I always use way too much setting spray. You know, we all have our things. Going ahead and taking my fan here, making myself feel like I'm getting glamour shots. And we're gonna go in with the eyeliner. I did cut this part out for the most part because no one wants to see me sticking my finger in my eye. Well, maybe somebody, but I'm sure most people do not want to see that. And I'm just going in with my Antonym black eyeliner pencil and my mini of my Make mascara that I'm trying to use up. It's almost done. As you can see, I ended up getting it all over my finger, which I didn't realize until after I was done filming. Oh well. It thankfully didn't get all over my face. That's all I have to say. And then I realized I was running out of time here, so I didn't end up doing a full brow. I just took my Make Stronghold Gel and ran it through my brows here a bit. I didn't even go in with a brow pencil or anything. But you know what? It looked fine. It turned out okay. I've been using the Make Beauty Lash and Brow Growth Serum, and I feel like my brows are pretty well shaped these days. For the most part, this works. I do prefer to go in with a pencil, but time was my enemy today. And I actually, so much, I almost forgot to put on my lipstick here before I headed out. But I went ahead and I did grab the Nabla Jelly formula, Beyond Jelly in Ardor. And I went ahead and threw that on. And that's the finished look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, peace.